Don't be as vulgar as Apple, please.
Oh, hang on.
If you can.
I mean, nothing's actually gone live yet. So
Oh, we have gone live. I can tell from over here there's an antenna emoticon.
I mean, most of our Twitch audience will just be going through adverts at the moment.
Well, if there is any Twitch audience at this bloody time of the day, heavens. Who's awake at this hour?
So, yeah, me, he just died.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah, so for anybody watching the VODs, because we're streaming at a strange time of day, so I'm not really expecting anyone to catch us live, but anyone who watches the VOD, Mia just died.
Only mildly. I only sat out in the train to go and find... Oh, do you want... Oh, no, hold on. There's no air in here. But only to, you know, look for stuff. And then Boris arrived. And then Sal arrived. And then I realised, oh, hold on. I died. But that's fine. I died at the comfort and home of my train.
Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah, Boris is here.
Boris is here.
Probably shouldn't have mentioned that. Could have been a surprise. Hi.
You've been... left behind like a dead dog at the side of the road.
Me or Boris?
Boris.
Yeah, I've missed pretty much a week of gameplay. When I left, there was just this one ship attached to the station, and I had plans to add plenty of docks for everyone to be doing this, but I see everyone it just kind of bodged it together. Made it work.
It's just temporary. Don't worry, we'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I see that there's a... So Armin must have come up. He's the Star Trek one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Terry.
I don't know enough about Star Trek to know what that's called, but I know it's a Star Trek thing.
The Enterprise.
I'm pretty sure this is Superjetic Figure Mark 6.
And Terry...
Enterprise is a business buzzword, right?
Oh, no.
So you could just put a fruit on the end of it.
Yeah.
I think a fig is a fruit.
Yeah. So it needs
he did it.
Oh, is it the Enterprise fig?
No, it's a synergetic fig.
Oh, nice. Terry Love says, oh dear, Mr. Gravity, Boris is here. But Bon wants to know what we're doing streaming at this time.
You have to ask Boris, because obviously it's his fault. Jim's flying into the welder here.
Isn't it like midday there?
Yeah.
Yes.
So a perfectly acceptable time of the day.
Well, not for streams. Streams usually happen in the middle of the night.
Not the middle of the night, early evening usually.
Depends on which night we're talking about.
There seems to be quite close parking here.
What?
Everything's all mashed together.
Oh no, this is just me welding.
Oh yeah, you were
stuff.
going to move the ship away from things before Boris got on, because we figured that like the moment Boris got on, we knew that everything would start bumping into itself, into things. Mia said, "He'll only park it here for a moment, and then I'll move it." You didn't move it, did you?
No, it's fine.
Well, there.
I see the biggest dickus is here. So that means icing has made it.
Oh yeah.
All the way
Yeah.
from Mars.
Yeah,
everybody's
he actually did
here.
it fairly quickly. Like, he just hopped up into atmosphere and he was here in like 3 hops. We actually set up a couch to look.
Ship has everything.
Yeah. I think that's why he didn't...
You're cutting out a little bit there, Boris.
I don't know if he's been playing much.
We
Have we heard if he's here yet?
Who?
Spider-Man.
I haven't seen much of Spider-Man, actually.
I worry that he's probably still out in the void.
Yeah.
Oh no, didn't one of them actually respawn on the moon or something? Was it Minty or Spidey?
Minty, I think, wasn't it? Who respawned
Minty's
on
the
moon?
dirty cheater.
Minty failed a couple of times, then he spawned here. So he's up here, but I don't think he's played since. I do have plans. I just have to go through what I was doing.
Mm.
Can you hear like keyboard sounds?
No.
Okay,
Well,
that's good.
actually, now that you mention it, yeah, but it wasn't loud enough to be noticeable before.
There were sounds to have. Like wet squelching
Is
sounds.
they're not mine, so I'd have to be rude. Just stop.
Hold on, so you're saying I'm the keyboard guy?
Oh,
I
no,
don't think
no.
so. You have more than one keyboard guy.
Yeah, I'm using a keyboard with my feet.
Was that Lyric?
Oh, no, that's Boris and Drab.
No,
We established
that-
this.
Say hi to Lyric.
Hello.
No, I didn't mean you,
She
mate. I
can't
meant
hear you.
I meant Boris.
you're gonna have to
Pass on our hellos to Lyric.
Oh, okay. I just turned up my headset so you could yell.
Hi.
Okay. Are either of you? Do you have plans for today? I'm assuming you just woke up. You just woke up and now you're here.
Well, no, she woke
I've
up.
just
I've
woke
been
up.
awake and tried to do work all morning. And then university stuff happened.
So that means you're playing games.
No? I'm building Sal's train of thought. This is work. She's my boss. She can tell me to do that.
Is Almond's ship not an intrepid class like the Voyager? And nothing is too broken or too stolen, so I don't think Minty's played that much.
I think he's still stuck on the moon. There is a second base that just showed up on my signal sources on the other side.
Oh,
Maybe he
Tammy's
did
here.
go down there.
Oh, hello,
Because
Tammy.
I've recorded with him. Oh, hello.
Yeah, it's early for
I've
Tammy.
recorded with Minty. Yeah. So I know he was up here, but maybe he went down. Right. I do have an engineering problem. If I was planning on doing like a collab thing, it was going to be with Minty, but then I got sick and Minty hasn't been available since.
Huh.
So if either of you want to do a thing,
Yeah.
you can. Otherwise, I can do it for myself.
Okay.
It's an engineering problem.
Okay.
It's fitting life support systems to one of these bays. You know where the dumpsters are? Or we've got the green dumpsters. So building like a life support system in a contained space that's the same size as those dumpsters. That
Okay.
can just connect to one of the bays.
Are you gonna join in too as well, mate?
Hold on. You want to have a mobile version of a life support container? Ah.
Yes. Everything's going to click in. I'm going to plug it all in.
You want to have
so
the
there's gonna be
entire
life support
station be
systems.
modular?
No.
Ah, heavens.
That would be sensible. Just some things.
So you want, instead of a cargo container, you want a life support system, but you want it in the style of one of these modular things. It should look like a dumpster, but instead of being a dumpster, it's a life support system.
I can work with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So oxygen and then oxygen tanks. So if you want to move oxygen from one station to another,
Yeah.
or ship to another, you just unplug it and plug it back in.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to do the same with batteries as well.
Tammy
That
says,
way you can just. Sorry.
all right, 7:25 for Tammy.
That is really early for Tammy. Like, who gets up at this time of day? Not Sal.
I just got up.
She's just got up. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so batteries as well. So we...
I mean,
On a different
neither
one.
of you have to do this.
Oh, I'm already invested.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah,
Ow.
yeah, I was going to do
Let's start down here.
oxygen on one and battery on another.
Okay. Alfie's here, says space engineers on a school day. Yeah. Well,
she's on
I'm on
holiday, so
holiday.
it's perfectly fine and happy.
Mhm.
I'm doing work for Sal. She hired me to do stuff like build trains and now life support dumpsters.
This is true.
That is the sort of thing we would build, right? The life support dumpster.
Do we dump people in there who no longer deserve life support? This just sounds
Well,
like
the
a
way
regular
around.
corpse dumps.
No, it's if you want to save someone, you throw them in.
Oh, you throw them in the dumpster, like almost like you were throwing them in a hospital bed or something.
Yeah, but you don't have to do anything more. You just throw them in and then they'll be better.
Oh, you're making your own version?
What?
I thought we're building on this together.
Oh, I see. You mean you want me to come be your welding fairy?
Well, no, I didn't say that. Look, I made the outer thing, like the initial connector type. I replicated the standard. And now we just need to figure out how to fit life support systems in there. When you say life support, do you mean hydrogen as well? Probably.
What is hydrogen used for? Now,
Flying.
just to
Flying.
confirm. Other than... So it is just flying. You don't use it for anything else.
Nope, they're just flying.
Okay, in that case, that's a different thing. This should just be oxygen. Because I want as much oxygen storage as possible. So if you have to remove oxygen storage to put in hydrogen, then I think you're losing that space.
Thing is,
But
if you want
It's up to
to...
you.
If you were going to go top up on one thing, you probably want to top up on all the things. So I don't know that you'd want to go to one dumpster to top up one thing and then go to
Well, no,
another
I
dumpster.
don't think you actually
don't
go...
think- Yeah, you don't go to the actual dumpster. There will be like an area within the station, but
Ah, okay.
it's supplied by these. So I'm wondering, I would prefer to have one hydrogen one that was more suited to putting into ships, I guess. So if
Yeah.
I'm thinking, if I was in a ship and I wanted to take off from somewhere with hydrogen, I'd want to just plug in just hydrogen. I wouldn't want to like add extra weight to my ship to add oxygen as well needlessly. But I'm wondering, if we have an oxygen generator, are you wasting hydrogen if you don't also have it? Because you're splitting the ice into oxygen and hydrogen, aren't you? So does that mean you're wasting it if you don't do it?
I think it only produces on demand, so if you do have an oxygen tank on board, it'll take the ice away and turn it into oxygen, or if you go plug a medbay in and then pull yourself up or something, it's going to produce oxygen, but otherwise it won't do anything with the ice.
Okay. Right, well, I guess in that case I've got 3 modules to add. An oxygen, a hydrogen, a battery one.
Hip hip hooray, although I'm not entirely sure if you can fit the hydrogen one into your connector standard
Yeah,
without going small ship, because a hydrogen tank is bloody massive. Oh no, hold on, maybe it's
We'll
just the
find
size
out.
of one of those large cargo containers? Probably not. Hydrogen.
It looks fairly similar. It
Oh,
might
it
be one block
is.
longer. So it'll fit perfectly?
It'll fit perfectly. Never mind me. You just need to reproduce one of those and then just slot the cargo container out. Excuse me, I'm dying. It's a recreational thing. Wouldn't recommend it.
And chat are just discussing whether Mia is if it's really work, because if you work you get paid, and so therefore Mia's actually a slave, and said no, Mia's not a slave, he's a robot.
Excuse me,
robots
I use
can
money.
be slaved.
No.
Can be slaves. No one pays robots. And Terry did point out that after following on the theme of the discussion that we had the other night, where he points out that this is you skiving off work is just me saving you from the embarrassments that come when you work so much more harder than everybody else. So I'm being kind to Mia by making him play space engineers instead of doing office work. See, we had this problem, Boris, where Mia was doing too much, and so he was showing up the rest of the team. And I was trying to explain to him that this is not a good thing, because he hasn't yet learned how to make himself look good without making everybody else look bad.
It's like the hot fuzz problem.
What's the hot fuzz problem?
From the film Hot Fuzz. I don't. This is the only time I would have a reference that Anubis would understand. And he's not here.
We can give him a call. Unnecessarily.
Do you have his number?
Technically,
Yeah.
I do.
No, Mia has phoned him accidentally from work, because Mia's phone does unwanted voice commands.
Yeah, it's mildly unfortunate. I called several people already. Apparently, my using the stapler in the background translates to call Anubis.
Yeah.
I also called the fellow student who's working as a nurse, who got really upset with me after I indicated that I believe I would let myself be operated by a robot surgeon.
Yeah.
And as a medical professional, she took umbrage with this.
Yeah, especially since like you say she'd stopped being a nurse at that point and lost the job or something.
Oh, no. At the time she was angry with me, she still was a nurse. The losing the nurse job only came later after she had that unfortunate
Incident.
egg-laying incident.
And to clarify,
It's not a funny thing. It's very tragic.
This is
Don't
not
ask
a
me
funny
about
thing.
this.
This is tragic.
Okay.
But to clarify, it's a standard
all right.
stapler, not an electric stapler.
Why do we not have electric staplers?
We don't have enough stuff to staple. Well, the
That's what we're doing
multifunctional
wrong.
device does most of the stapling.
So, excuse me, you mean the non-employee resources? I'm a non-employee resource. I think this joke is going too far for Boris. He can't follow along because I can't.
Does that mean you're a robot?
No, well, yes, I'd like to be. But no, technically, I'm a non-employee resource because I'm not directly employed by the organization. So's the printer. We're in the same category. We're the same,
No.
We're the same kin.
The printer is a multifunctional device. It's not a non-employee resource.
It is also a non-employee resource.
Doesn't your photocopier have an electric stapler? Yeah, it does. That's it. So that's why we don't have an electric stapler
the
in the
hell
office,
is this?
because most of it's done by the printer.
It's blue.
I was doing the hydrogen equivalent.
Oh, I thought Sal was doing that.
No, I'd been red if I'd have done it. I think that's the colour
That's-
that's on my thingy at the moment.
That's my point. Right. I think we're done. Don't really need more, to be honest. Oh, this is embarrassing.
What?
Hmm?
We're not done.
Yeah, no, I was making jokes.
Oh. Mia, as we established, the printer is better than you.
It gets
No,
paid
it's-
more.
No.
You dump more money into the printer
No,
than
we
into
just
me.
use the printer more. Unlike a
What do you mean you use the printer more?
like
Am I this expendable to you?
you only support one team. each printer, and the costs that you've seen about the printers are for all of the multifunctional devices, not just the one. I mean, we've got what? We've got 7 floors with 2 printers per floor. Let's say that's an average. So we've got 14 printers, so call it 10 because that makes the maths easier. So if we're spending 3 million a year on printers and paper and all that sort of stuff, then that's still significantly more than you cost us, true. However, so 300,000 per printer, but each printer is supporting, let's see, we've got, let's call it 700 people over 7 floors. So we'll call it 100 people a floor, 2 printers per floor. So there's about like 50 people, and say there's about 10 people in C. So that's about 5 MEAs. Each printer is about 5 MEAs.
Thank you for illustrating with mathematics how expendable I am.
Here's Saldo's mental arithmetic by largely rolling everything to the nearest 100,000.
I have a problem. I want to attach oxygen farms to this, but they're 3 long, and they only have 1 connector, which is nonsense.
Okay, so do the printers have a pension plan? No, but yeah, we pay into your pension plan as well, don't we, Mia?
No.
Did you opt out?
Yes.
Okay, so Mia doesn't either. So they're equal on that front.
Do you have optional pensions there?
Yeah. It's you're automatically enrolled, and it's only optional for the employees. It's not optional for the employers. The employers have to offer a pension scheme, and they have to offer a minimum standard, and they can choose better than that if they want. And but yeah, the employees can choose to opt out because employees can do a different thing, and it can be quite difficult to transfer a pension scheme from one employer to another. So people who in temporary work and stuff like that, like Mia's doing at the moment, often have different arrangements. Sal is justifying down the value of the printers to make Mia feel less bad about being paid less. And Tommy says, all I did was ask about the stapler. I'm sorry I started this discussion. And Mia will never be able to access his pension because he doesn't get older. It's because he started there. He started off old. Are you sure about this, Mia?
Why would I not be sure about this? I mean, feel free to disagree, as you're doing right now, technically. So, you know. Do you think we need a little cargo container for ice?
Energy low.
Yes. How do we make sure this thing only gets ice?
I thought these were tanks, because you're not gonna have...
Well, yeah, one of them is a generator. I thought we have one generator and a bunch of stockpiling oxygen tanks, and then we've got an oxygen cargo container.
Then you'd have to fit the sorter in 2, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure about this, mate.
What do you mean I have to fit this?
Well, you don't have to.
Oh, a sorter. Oh, yeah.
If you have the sorter, then only ice can get in.
I see where you...
But that's optional.
Well, the problem with that...
If something...
Well, the problem with that is, as far as I wager, we have 3 points of entry. I would need to make sure that that the sorter is the last. Oh, hold on, I have an idea.
I thought this would be like you're coming here to pick up stored oxygen rather than to pick up a thing that is going to make your oxygen for you.
Well, so this is so that I don't have to have any of this stuff on the station itself. So it should generate oxygen as well.
Oh, okay.
But primarily store. I think one is more than enough, one generator. I don't know whether you keep ice in there as well. Like a store for ice. So I think that's more what the dumpsters are for, the green dumpsters. But
if you want to have it be plug and
this
play,
through a lot. Yeah, then you'll need.
You would need some ice in it.
Place to put ice, yeah. Then yeah, we are thinking this through a lot more than I have at any other stage. With any of this.
Well, this one sounds a bit more challenging though, because before your stuff's just cargo, whereas this one is going to be a manufacturing as well.
That's why it's an engineering conundrum.
Mm-hmm. Like Boris is going to regret getting 3 different designers building his Lego blocks.
Yeah, well, Icing did the green ones, and he only did it's called preliminary. Each of those are called the preliminary cargo container because he did one draft, and then I accepted it without telling him. He put it there for us to comment on it and say how could we improve it. I didn't look at it. I just said yep, and I started building them. It wasn't until he saw the video that realized that I was just mass producing these first drafts.
All right, I'll get.
I think.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'll get working on the battery version.
Yeah. I think that one. I mean, it sounds the easiest.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Don't know. I figured I'd build
a lot of stuff.
Well, it probably is the easiest. She just needs this standard thing that we've built here, then build a 3x3 block
a bunch of batteries in the middle of it. Is there anything you want the battery one to do other than just be batteries? I mean, you don't.
No,
do you want it to generate power as well?
Do you want it to ionize people that come close?
So is that an option? Can I have an ionizing module?
Well,
that just kills anyone that comes near it.
Probably yes. We just need to, stick enough pistons and rotors into it.
But no, I think it's just a storage thing. Because if it had to generate, I'm finding that I don't need to use uranium at all. And I think that might be sort of a small goal. I'm not going to stick to it too much, but I'm going to try to not use uranium too much when I'm playing this season. So I think I'm going to go more down the route of big arrays of solar panels, charging these battery modules, and then just switch them out as they run out of power, if they ever do, because I've not come anywhere near close to running out of power the entire time I've been on this server.
I guess they made it easy so casual players can enjoy this.
It's probably harder on the ground because you have darkness, whereas up here it's just constant power. So that's one thing that I'm assuming it might have come up in one of your streams or something, but Bernie messaged me and asked me why I put the dock area for the ships right above the solar panels, because all that happens is from the side the station is blocking the solar panels, and from the other side the ships that dock there are blocking the solar panels. So he didn't like that there were just shadows being cast on them. But even with them all just at like one, I don't know what you call those bars, the one green dot on them, even with them all like that, it's enough power. And also, I didn't intend for people to be parking on those green and red ones permanently, but I didn't build any others. Well, not yet, anyway. Have you just been working on the train of thought this week?
Pretty much. What was the other thing we did? I'm sure we did something else. We tried to raid Alman's moon base, and then Alman, felt defeated and just brought the thing up here and showed us. No, wait, we went downstairs, he showed us. Then he brought it up here just to, intimidate us. That sounds right. And then I just put on the hologram of the train of thought, welded that up, had philosophical discussions about the nature of life, and Sal was building a reactor cart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty much how it went.
Is that what this fucking red thing is?
Yeah. The red tube?
Okay.
Yeah, that is going to be the next carriage on the train.
It's a Sal design so far.
So it's I started by just saying measuring what kind of space I had to work with. The rules about our carriages is that each one's got to be capable of being an independent ship. But, it can be seriously underpowered.
Sorry.
Each of the...
I didn't hear that last sentence.
So each of the carriages has got to be an independent... It's got to be capable of being an independent ship. Even if it's really underpowered and doesn't have much in the way of life support. It just needs to be able to be moved around and stuff like that. So... But then it has its own specialist function. So that one is going to be the reactor carriage. Or the energy producing carriage.
Yeah.
Or storing carriage.
Yeah. The energy carriage.
Seems like we're doing kind of similar things, but in different ways.
Yeah.
I think you have to play this game. You have to first get established, and then second, make up a bunch of unnecessary rules that make it harder, and you have to engineer your way around.
Yeah. You have to give yourself a goal to strive for.
Which so far has usually been undermine the server and get it to crash.
Yeah, but that can be done in so many different ways. You need to kind of decide which way you want to undermine the server and cause it to crash.
Fair point.
Have either of you had any problems with the server? Has it been running smoothly?
It's been fine. We've had sometimes... Actually, it's running really well around here. Sometimes around here, where all of this stuff is, it can get a bit laggy, but nothing of concern.
So far.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to try, and I don't even want to mention this because Mia will go, watch me. You wouldn't want to get one of those little hover bikes that Nordic builds and try and drive in and out amongst the stuff.
Oh no, I'm not really keen on hover bikes. That's a lie. I totally love them, but
I was going to say, what about that one that Nordic made for you? That's You can't say that, Mia. That's terrible.
Small tubes. How's that? I said that. Heresy. Sal and I had a terrible idea, speaking of which.
Did we?
Yes, we did. Remember the show we're watching?
Oh, Dead Pixels.
Yes.
He.
Do we reveal that now so we can garner Boris's terrible opinions on the matter before?
I'm planning on watching Dead Pixels. I haven't started yet.
Oh,
But
you should.
is this? Yeah, I definitely will.
Oh, yeah. It's
Have an idea based on
sort of. Not
Yes,
really, but
unfortunately.
kind of. It was. Do you want to tell it, Mia, or?
So, I assume you're aware of the basic premise of the show being that a bunch of weirdos play an online role-playing game together. Right?
Yeah.
Or was that a spoiler just now? Did I ruin it for you?
No, I think that's in the summary of the show.
Ah, damn it. I'm sorry.
That's in the blurb.
I didn't
So
realise.
that's all right.
Well, after watching an unhealthy amount of everything that's been released so far, we want to do the same thing by playing the Elder Scrolls Online with people.
And it wasn't particularly big, anything to do with the show. It was just, as we're watching it, Mia said, it kind of makes me want to play Elder Scrolls Online. And I said, well, I thought that was, Mia had spoken ages ago about
How much I hate online role-playing games like this because they're
about
so
how
terribly grindy.
he'd set up Skyrim so that we could do multiplayer.
Oh yeah, that too.
And I just presumed that he meant Elder Scrolls Online, but apparently he didn't.
No. The thing I set up when Sal was playing Skyrim was a mod that just dumps me into the game with a lot of problems.
And so I was up for. So I said to him, I said, well, I'm up for it.
So you're reenacting a sitcom?
Basically, that's what it would amount to. But Bomb says Elder Scrolls Online sounds like a Bethesda game to me. So anyway, but I said there's a problem though. I can see a downside to this because it's an MMO.
It's going to be grindy.
It's going to be grindy.
According to the internet, this is about a 400-hour investment.
Oh, that's grown since we were talking last night.
Well, if you want to be a completionist, which is what I am.
And so the problem I can see is I'll say, oh, new game, shiny thing, let's play. And then at some point into the game I'll go, yeah, oh look, a new shiny thing over there, let's go play that instead. And Mia will be, but I've got to play this, I have to play this through, I can't stop now. And then he'll be left in Elder Scrolls Online all by himself, which he'll then play manically for several hundred hours just so that he can complete it, because I've left him alone in the game because I've gone playing something completely different. So Mia can't really walk away from things. The Niddite version will make the Dead Pixels show team look good.
I feel like I should take offense to that, but he's right.
Yeah, so I think it's not that we're looking to recreate the sitcom or anything. It's just that
It's a game we could play and then lose ourselves in, which we wouldn't recommend.
wouldn't we?
Well, I wouldn't.
Why not?
I'm not the biggest fan of the grind. And yet, somehow watching this show, the idea seems so enticing.
I see. Would you call your Elder Scrolls stream live pixels?
Well, that would be going too close to the plagiarism line. I'm not sure if we can allow that.
Alright, can I just make a 9x9 square of these things, I wonder?
So, besides dying, what have you been up to?
That pretty much sums it up. I have from now and all of next week off. I'm thinking about doing a live stream or two, but I apparently have, well, ideally, I have to plan ahead and tell people when it's going to be on.
Well, not necessarily. Look at us.
Yeah.
We didn't announce this, and there is...
There's 5 people on Twitch.
Heavens. Hello, people.
I haven't done anything for at least 2 years. I don't think that there are people waiting around.
You underestimate the people.
See, there's this thing that they brought in, it's quite revolutionary, called notifications. What happens is, when you, if your live streams, won't Boris use up all of Australia's internet? They've got a new ration though. I think it was like a year ago or something, wasn't it, Boris? That Australia got a new ration of internet.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, and you know they're like children out there. They don't save them up forever. They binge on it all at once.
Yeah, I can just do 720 now.
1 second, we've got the robot Hoover's just woken up. Mia's just run out to go and put it back to bed. Robot Hoovers are the best thing.
has been subdued. He's all right. I tied him down. He's trapped on the laundry basket now, probably.
good.
Maybe. We'll find out. It's his punishment for trespassing on this realm at the time I told him to do this.
Yeah. I forgot he was scheduled. Terry says, "Oh, Mia is a baby robot."
It's not my baby. We're brothers in arms.
I want to put little googly eyes on top of him.
I can't find any that match, though. I need some googly eyes on stalks.
Yeah. So that his eyes sort of bobble around while he's moving. That would be so fun.
Oh, one other requirement of these before I forget. There needs to be space for one of those LCD screens, the tiny little LCD screens, so that I can put a number on them. Each of these have a unique number.
Oh yeah, I've left the space for that, I think.
Have you got them on the cargo containers at the moment so I can see where they are?
The green ones down the bottom. Should be able to fit it on somewhere.
Do you need help finding them?
What? Oh, no, I got distracted at this point. I was just thinking, hang on, we got a connector?
Hold on a second. One of those is a battery?
Yeah.
Oh, whoops. Oh, heavens. Oh, I got this wrong.
That's so that everything continues working when you pull it out. Do merge blocks work without power? I assume they don't.
Ooh. My inventory was full.
Connectors don't. I don't think connectors do. I don't know, icing must have had a reason for putting a battery on.
I guess so.
Connectors don't work without power. Yes.
Yeah, I hadn't
so-
really thought about it connecting to something that was unpowered.
Well, yours is just all batteries, so it should be alright.
So,
yeah. I'll make sure to include a battery at the appropriate point.
battery.
And the battery doesn't need to be in the same place on each one. It
I mean, I
just
know it
happens to
doesn't.
be so.
Well, you only have one type, so... Oh no, never mind, you've got two now.
So how do we know which way round? Good. So these things are like they have an up and a down and a left and a right and stuff.
Yes, they have a foot, as far as I understand it. Boris explained it in an episode of his.
Oh, I watched that. Didn't actually listen to it.
Didn't actually listen. That's good.
Oh, look, there's connectors on all sides.
And they have feet?
Well, I thought the weird flat bit at the bottom is supposed to be a foot.
Oh yeah, I assume so, because this is icings, but I assume that's so you can just drop it on the ground.
Yeah, I maybe needed to pay a bit more attention to what it was I was building before. I thought, oh, it's easy, I'll just make a square block of batteries the size of a cargo container.
I think that's about as much thought you need to put into it. I think that's one thing that I do a lot more of nowadays, is rather than try and think everything through before I start, slapping stuff down and then let it evolve into some... It usually doesn't look great, but I don't spend forever just trying to think about what it's going to be.
Yeah, that's kind of my MO. Place blocks down and then carve them into the shape that... well, this is a bit different because I'm copying something. Oh, hello, Cheese, who says it's a morning stream for me.
It sure is.
Cheese is also in Australia.
Oh, and was it morning for you now? I thought it was evening for you.
Oh yeah, Cheese isn't in Australia. Sorry, I keep forgetting. I've just woken up. This is... Yeah,
You
Cheese is in
fool.
Canada.
You're embarrassing us in front of the audience.
I've just woken up.
Yeah, that's
But
a
because I
lousy
just
excuse.
jumped straight into gaming, I haven't had sort of wake up time. I didn't have the sort of snooze time that I would normally have.
It's true, unfortunately.
Okay, so I can leave that battery there for sure, but...
I feel a little bit bad because I've gotten both of you to do the far more complicated one. And
What do you mean? The battery one is really easy.
Oh yeah, the battery one's really easy.
I mean, if you're terribly bored, you can
I
help.
think it's a little...
Energy low.
Yes.
It's slightly more complicated than mine, because mine is literally one block in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed, but it's alright, I hold no grudges. If you're terribly bored and are done with yours, I need somebody to haul large tubes over, because apparently they're heavy, and my feeble tiny hands can't hold them. Speaking about
Just
feeble
put
tiny
LCD
hands,
screen on this.
are you familiar with phones?
The concept?
Both, really. I mean, you'd need to be familiar with the concept to go into more precise matters regarding phones.
I mean, I know somewhat. It is part of my job, so I do know phones.
What do you mean it's part of your job?
Like to use them.
No, I mean the existence of phones.
And manage everyone's
The phones.
And like answer them and
Oh, that sort of thing.
Oh no, not answer them. I do everything I possibly can to not answer a phone.
yeah, me too.
Me not.
But
like
so
taking robocalls.
all of the both mobile phones and all the landlines and everything is part of what I do, because we got all the business phones, all the company phones. So I manage all of them. So I know some phone things, but not
Energy critical.
any phone.
My problem is I've got teeny tiny hands. It's very disorienting. And phones are not that small anymore. I thought maybe you know of small phones that fit into my tiny hands.
Terry was pointing out about my confusion between Australia and Canada as being, well, it's one of those colonial countries.
Well, it's true. I think that counts for the majority of countries around the Earth. At least in Britain's case. Did Australia have any colonies at one point?
No, it was a British colony.
I mean, yeah, I know, but that just shouldn't
No.
stop
It's
them
like-
from having their own.
Colonyception.
We sort of did. There was some colonyception going on, like Papua New Guinea and Easter Island, and there's a few other little islands that were kind of gifted to us. They were put under our
For your
control
birthday.
from yeah.
Hey, Australia!
Well, Easter Island was like a gift. The UK said, "This colony's closer to you. Do you want to have it now that you run things for yourself?"
You're a big boy now. Here, have an island.
Yeah.
Don't worry, all of the natives are already dead, so you can't do anything too wrong. I mean, we saw what you did with the ones that we left you with. We didn't want to give you any new people.
That is kind of why we left. Like, Papua New Guinea was part of Australia until the 1970s, and that's when the idea of having to actually look after the people in your country started to take root, and that seemed like far too much trouble. So we just kind of said, "Do you want independence? That seems like a fun thing. Everyone else is doing it."
That's kind of what Britain did, like after the Second World War. It's like, I know we've been bullying you into being part of us for all these years, but we're a bit poor at the moment. How do you fancy going it alone? So yeah, but Canada we sent the nice people to. Australia we sent the criminals to. Tammy says in America out of all of the people you didn't want. It's true, actually. America was the criminal colony before Australia until independent, until like the natives got very warlike, and then we said, oh, we're gonna have to go to Australia a bit further, but at least they haven't got a navy out there. By natives, I mean colonists.
Well, some jokesters around here would probably want to claim that America reclaimed that title. Hey, fellas? Okay, cool.
What title, sorry?
Prison colony? You can ban me now if you want to.
Why can't I build? I'm so bad at things. Ever since they changed the images used for different components, which was a long time ago, I've had trouble discerning which one's which. Because they're all the same color. Like, construction components used to be their own color.
Yeah.
I keep getting I mix up interior plates and computers all the time because I just flatten bits of things. I just got interior plates instead of construction components.
Terry just points out that once colonies stop providing lots of income, it's best to give them to a charity shop.
Did he just equate Australia with a charity shop?
No, you're an item inside the charity shop.
I think given that it's the equivalent, so giving them independence is the equivalent of giving them away to a charity shop. And I should just point out to viewers that you know, we are joking here, is it? I'm not really...
You're not really the product of a charity exchange.
I'm not really a crazy
love you
colonist of
occasionally.
Some description. Yeah, point out that America started off Western America, English colonies in America started off as a prison population, and America does now have the highest prison population of the Western world. So you know, they've carried on as we started them out.
In that it's just a tool. Like, they're not... Like, America wasn't a prison. Transporting convicts as a tool to build new civilizations. Similar to the idea of slavery. You use them to build for you. Convicts is just a slightly less morally dubious way. Although I doubt we would do that today. It's like Australia wasn't made for convicts. It wasn't intended as a massive prison.
No.
But you can use prisoners to do all the stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah. And it also sorts out the problem of what do you do with those prisoners, you know, back at home, because you don't want to keep them on your own soil. But all of those pesky prison reformers were saying that you couldn't do the horrendous things that you used to do to them, so...
Watch me!
So ship them out instead. Terry points out that Australia was a roulette of a death penalty. So many things trying to kill people out there. Yeah, it's true as well. Terry also says half the bars in central London would be in trouble without Australians. If the Australians stopped backpacking, then yeah, the UK would have a big problem in some of its service industries, and particularly its barmen.
I'd argue, but I literally know one who went and visited while I was there.
Chat are debating who has the highest percentage of population in prison, whether it's America or North Korea. I read something recently which said it was America. Per head of population, America has the highest number in the world, not just the highest number in the Western world. Although, hey, China's given it a bloody good go by... I suppose it depends if you include the the Muslim... what do they call those camps? The re-education camps. I think we could fairly call those prisons, couldn't we? It's... You don't have a choice to leave.
In that case, you could call the entirety of North Korea a prison.
Well, you could also call the planet a prison, because, you know, gravity
We're all
keeps
in
us...
prison. We're all imprisoned in our own minds, one way or another.
Well, I'll have you know, my mind is for a free-range prison.
China shoots a lot, so the prison population goes up and down. True, yeah, I see that.
It's even if it's not, I don't think that's a group of countries that you want to be competing with for that title.
I suppose it's one of those things. Once you've started, though, it's difficult to stop, isn't it? You know, it's like, yeah, but we're so nearly the first. I was so nearly top. Just like a little bit of an extra push, and we'd be there. Why stop now?
Human decency? No? Alright, never mind, fellas.
I don't know if you want me continuing with this, Mir, but I figure it's not.
Oh yeah, please.
I am
carry
assuming
on.
this is what comes next.
It was what came next. Very well done. You've grown wise.
Cheese points out there are a number of stats that I think countries really don't want to be tops in.
Bees.
Are you sure? I think being top in bees would be maybe an advantage, especially at the moment.
Well,
when
it
there's a shortage
depends
of
how
bees.
many bees you have. If you can't walk through your country without wading through bees that reach up to your knees, you're gonna feel a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you don't need to go to that extreme to be top bee country.
Watch me. Ugh.
Well, I see. There's a good business in renting out bees.
Yeah.
You just take your bees with you to fertilize crops. So if you were wading through bees, like that many bees, you've probably got the basis of a good business there. Your country could export bees.
Yeah, but at this point, do you still really need to do that? If you've got a massive pile of bees just on your country, they would probably all just fly away accidentally.
I think they're pretty self-contained. I mean, you live on an island. I don't think that many bees would fall off and then blow across.
Well, I was imagining, knee-deep bees, I was thinking like a ball pit of bumblebees.
Yes. That was the plan, actually.
Was that what you were thinking as well, Mia?
Well, not necessarily a ball pit, just a small wall along the edge of the country at the coastline, and then just pour in bees.
Alfie says Sal comparing the US North Korea prison system to a box of Jaffa cakes. Bees is good considering the number of colony deaths we've been having in North America. Countries probably don't want the most dead bodies in the streets. What about intra-country bee espionage?
How does that work? Bees don't really reveal any secrets.
Put a camera on them and then learn where all of your enemy country's flowers are.
Oh yeah, because they do. They do. You'd have to learn their dance, but they do their little bee bum dance, don't they?
Yes.
Like they fly back to the hive and they wiggle their bum around to say, second left after the post office, there's a really nice dahlia.
I'm not sure if they
Our
would...
post office or their post office?
From a bee's point of view.
All
obviously.
post offices are their post offices. No, wait, that's the wrong block. Yeah. Why do they hide all the blocks under icons I don't recognise?
I thought you were going to say, where did they hide all the bees?
I know where they're hiding all the bees.
In North Korea.
No, unfortunately not.
Ha, that's what you think.
Excuse me, I've been an apiary... No, wait. Oh yes, it was an apiary person.
An
What was the...
apiarist.
A beekeeper. That's the technical term. book. I'm in with the bees. I engaged in a blood pact with one of them, where they stung me, and it hurt a whole lot because apparently I'm allergic to bees.
Allergic or intolerant? We were discussing this last night.
Given the fact that I
think
passed
everyone's
out.
intolerant of bees.
No, they're those weirdos who
Who
just.
enjoys getting stung by one?
People have strange tastes. I mean, when I say strange to me, not kink shaming or anything, but something that might be a little unusual for my tastes. Somebody out there probably likes.
As I was about to say, there are those weirdos who just wear them as beards.
Oh yeah, the people who wear bees as beards. There you go, you see.
I'm mildly jealous.
Is this where all the bees are going? They're just going to beards and kinks.
Isn't what you mean? They're not the same. I mean, like, surely wearing bees as beards is some sort of kink.
No, Sal, don't be silly.
But it's not like a hobby, is it?
I wear my beards recreationally.
What's chat saying? Mia, you realise now you have to build a bee mobile in Space Engineers.
Excuse
You
me, the
did that
queen
last
bee
time.
exists.
Yeah.
We had an entire season where I was just
Yeah.
focused on bee-themed things like bee drones and queen bees and hiveplexes and in-flight entertainment.
Yeah. Countries stealing bees from each other by planting flowers. That's like your bee. What do you call it? Espionage. Don't bees die after they sting someone?
Yeah, they did. It was a short-lived blood pact.
Terry says, I was stung on the hand by a bee when I was in the middle of shooting an archery contest. Made it hard to hold the bow. I can imagine.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
wear my beard because I'm too lazy to shave.
And I should probably point out that we should have cycled a few minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Shall we cycle?
I'll try
Does
to
Boris
cycle.
know about cycling?
As a concept?
Just making roughly. Oh, yeah, that's where you pedal, right?
I was like, I should have said, does Boris know that we cycle?
I've kind of worked it out.
All
I've
right.
seen you do it enough times.
Oh, okay.
Once every hour or so.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if like you'd watched any videos or anything like that. Hang on a second.
I occasionally catch bits of streams.
Right, we shall be back in a few minutes.